Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good, and welcome back to another showcase. This will be an interesting one. I have actually been working through all these guys, and you'll be able to see the potential builds for each of these units, but this is essentially the year 1 EZA team with max level links. I went through the process already. A couple of these guys you've already seen showcases at 100% potential with the level 10 links, but for example, like the Frieza unit and also I think the Perfect Cell, I haven't necessarily done a showcase dedicated on their optimized team setups, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But I think the rest of them you pretty much have seen some variation of showcases on my channel. But really, I wanted to test out the EZA, year 1 team and see how, how much of an impact the level 10 links will have, even based on leader skill for Gogeta, because I did have to kind of place him as lead in order to benefit, the entire team. So based on the team itself, it's all types key plus 3 HP attack and defense increase of 77%. So obviously a lot less in terms of overall boost compared to some of the more optimized setups where you're getting 170% toward attack, defense, HP, or if not all. Most of the time it's a combination of 130, 150, and 170. But again, this will be strictly on the 77% boosting setup. Again, I have a friend that's also the 140 level strength Gogeta as well, and we'll just kind of see how things play out. Again, this isn't the most optimized setup by any means. It's more or less just kind of making sure we can include every single unit with some sort of boost overall. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. We're going to test it out on Boss Rush and yeah, just essentially go through each one of these. I guess I should kind of highlight some of the units here. So, the INT Gogeta EZA did already happen on GP recently, and the Strength Gogeta kind of might be a little bit placed off the perch, but this guy's still very good. I mean, attack and defense increase to 77%, attack increased by 7% for every Rainbow Key Sphere obtained, and then also attacks effective against all types. In addition to that, lowers attack and defense from the super attack. So, the INT Gogeta might be the better unit out of the two, but this guy's still pretty good and definitely can hold his own. So that's not too bad of a unit. I think the one that they really kind of screwed over with the EZA, given, this was the first EZA to ever happen, so it wasn't necessarily, executed perfectly. It was more or less a guinea pig, but I'm referring to the AGL Super Janemba Goku. The thing that hurts this guy severely is the fact that the attack increase 120% built into the passive is limited to 7 turns from the start of the battle, basically, right? So that's essentially what hurts this guy because, given the fact that a lot of the events like Infinite Dragon Ball History and whatnot these days in Dokkan pretty much extend out further than 7 turns. Like once that hits, your attack and offensive output for this unit severely gets handicapped because of that. So that's one thing about the unit that stands out. I do have to be fair in that, it was the very first EZA to happen in the game, so they might have not necessarily, went full speed. They kind of scaled back probably a little bit just to make it, somewhat a little bit restricted, my guess is, and they basically opened the floodgates after that, right? That's my thoughts with it anyway. But the next one I haven't really showcased on a team yet, which I will in the next coming days, is the physical type full power Frieza. Now this guy's still pretty decent. It is a little bit limited, similar to like the LR Goku and LR Frieza EZAs, where you do have to force them in the first attacker slot in order to get that key plus 3 and defense increase of 30%. Also, the attack increase of 120%. You do get performing a super attack, so that's not necessarily limited to a certain slot in the rotation. But overall, this guy's not bad. I guess what's surprising to me personally is the fact that I don't have this guy rainbowed yet. He's been stuck at 90% for a while, and obviously with the the red coins and whatnot, it gives you opportunities throughout the year to be able to acquire copies of units like these. But I guess from my personal take, I've been opting to select different units more so than the Frieza and also the Cell unit. I guess which we can transition to next. Perfect Cell, obviously the tech type. Still not a bad unit, still pretty decent. Nuking passive, where attack and defense increases by 15% for every key sphere obtained, and then you could also get a key +1 addition per every rainbow key sphere obtained. So along with that 10% HP recovery with the super attack definitely does benefit. And this guy does have placement in a variety of setups, so he's still a pretty relevant unit to this day, I think, in my opinion. Now, speaking of relevancy, the one you're seeing right now, perfect timing, right? Janemba. I mean, you at this point, you guys know what my thoughts are on how phenomenal this EZA has been. This is probably the most unit coming out of the EZAs that I tend to include on my teams. I mean, this guy is still, very, very good. It'll be interesting to see how much of an impact the strength version of Janemba's EZA will have on this version, because of how obsolete the INT version with the EZA made the strength version. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But even if they make him like phenomenal, more so than the intelligence version, I still feel like I would be using this guy on a pretty frequent basis. Just because of the ability to greatly lower defense. Along with that, you get a decent boost to attack and defense as a base passive, and then effective guard against all types, medium chance of evading enemies' attack, and also increasing your attack by 40% for 4 turns when guard is activated. All those things play out and make this guy phenomenal. I've seen upwards of 5 million in attack stats from Janemba, and he was more or less considered a defensive unit in the past, but he is a highly offensive powered unit at this point with the EZA, so that's what makes it amazing. And the fact that level 10 links further expand on that is also what makes the unit very, very crazy, to be honest. Now, the last one I haven't talked about is the physical type Kid Buu with the EZA, of course. Phenomenal support. Still use him a lot on a variety of teams. Conquest of Terror transformation boost comes to mind when in terms of like how often I use this unit. But again, lowering defense with the super attack, providing key support, of 2 and attack and defense increase of 50% as long as HP is 80% or above. Even if it's 79% or below, you still get a 30% boost to attack and defense by 30%. Pretty damn good link sets. You've got stuff like Big Bad Bosses and Fierce Battle, Brutal Beatdown. Those are pretty common amongst the extreme type units, so fairly easy to build teams around of, and it's honestly quite fun including this guy on there too. For a support unit to be able to hit upwards of 2.5 million in attack stats, it's pretty damn amazing, to be honest with you. And of course, this particular showcase is not going to highlight that, but more so this is kind of an interesting theme type video, right? Just running a team on a certain theme and just making sure we can actually blast through it. I wouldn't say blast through it, that's probably an overstatement, but make it through it without getting killed, I guess I should say, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a 77% double lead format, far less than your more optimized setups. But even that being said, I mean, Gogeta is able to put maybe upwards of 1.5 million in attack stats. Frieza, maybe with the first slot position, upwards of 1.8 plus in terms of attack stats and whatnot. So, I definitely did have to bring in, and this is interesting, and I'm surprised I didn't call this out yet, but key issues are definitely a thing with this team. So I did bring in like a lot of items where you're boosting up the unit's key meter. The Fruit of Tree of Might, or whatever the hell it was called, and also the Saiyan armor. Those also help in terms of boosting key, so it's kind of useful to have in these types of situation. Ultimately, they're not meant to be ran together, so that's why you result in a key issue, right? The Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Gogeta, they link pretty well, so you don't really have to worry about that. But some of the other villains like Janemba, Frieza, Kid Buu, and Cell, they're a little bit all over the place in terms of link sets, so you're not necessarily getting the full advantage, even though I went through the process of maximize their links. But it's all good. This is more or less meant to be a fun little video and nothing more, no more, no less, and that's pretty much the extent of it. So I figured I would switch things up, do this first, and then for the units like Frieza and Cell, I'll do a dedicated showcase for those guys where you're able to see them on a properly fitted category team setup, basically. And you can imagine their attack stats and defensive stats as well are definitely way better than what you're seeing right now. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'll put in the pinned comment, the showcases, individual showcases of each of the units I've done so far. And once I do the other two, it'll have a comprehensive list. So hopefully that'll help you guys in terms of checking out each of the individual units and just kind of seeing how well those units perform based on level 10 link sets. So again, this is the year 1 EZA team. I wanted to test this out. I've been planning for this for several weeks. Just kind of slowly grinding the each of the units link sets, and it is a process at the end of the day. But to me, it's almost like killing two birds with one stone. You're able to grind rank because, for me anyway, I just run through quest mode 23.8 just over and over and over again. So you're obviously grinding rank at the same time. You're grinding the link levels, but also you're also farming the incredible gems because they are available in that stage as well. So I guess it's not just two, but killing multiple stones at one time. So, or multiple birds with one stone, I guess I should say. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.